What's up, Inland Empire? I'm Jessica Q, and we are the podcast of the Inland Empire. Everything going on in the IE, from events to local leaders, and of course, anything IE. And so I'm excited because today it's kind of a unique show because we've got a a bee. Sorry, I'm not thinking about beer. You brought wine though, right?
I did, yes.
Okay. A bee. What do you call what you do?
So mainly, I'm a bee rescue operator. That's what we call ourselves
A
at
bee
the Bee Army.
rescue
Yes.
operator.
Yes.
You are with the Bee Army.
Correct. Yes.
Alejandro Soto.
That's me. Yes, Alejandro Soto.
Welcome to the
Thank you.
show. And this is your first podcast, huh?
This
Are
is
you
my
excited?
first. I am.
Are you ready to talk about the bees?
I am always.
The birds and the bees?
We can talk about that later, but yeah, the bees for sure.
Let's talk about the bees. Okay. So you rescue bees and you relocate them, but you also produce the honey and
Yes.
sell it.
So what we do is people call us with bee problems, I guess you could say, or bee infestation. And so we provide the solution of relocating the hives. But once we relocate the hives, now we have this colony that needs to get put through rehab, so to speak. So we get them because they go from cavities, whether in walls, soffits, attics, underneath houses, you name it. Every climbing place we go, or at least we try. And so we remove the hives from those places. We graft them into beekeeping boxes, and then we take those to the farm out here in Riverside, where we kind of get them back to health, and then they go and pollinate. Whether it be the almonds, avocados, those are our main two right now.
Okay.
And they'll produce honey in those locations. We'll bring them back to our yards, pull the honey, and the cycle just starts all over again.
Okay. I have so many questions for
Okay,
you. And
yes.
because bees. First, let's start with why are bees important? Can you tell everybody why bees are so important?
So bees are kind of the keystone to pollination in turn, like where our food comes from, almonds, nuts, blueberries, apples. I mean, you name a tree that produces a lot of fruit, and that's where the bees need to be. And the reason why they're so important in those areas is because some of those areas are just nothing but, let's just say, almond trees. And so the bees can't live there in the wild.
Okay.
There's nothing for them to eat throughout the whole year, except for the season would fall in January through March, let's just say, late January, early March. And so everywhere else, we're trying to just kind of keep the bees alive. And so
we're like us as Earth,
Yes.
human beings, we need to keep the bees alive.
Yes.
Because I've heard this, and tell me if I'm wrong, but without bees, like if the last bee died, it would affect us.
Definitely. And so what the bees provide, even outside of that circle I just explained, which that circle is all human agriculture. But even in the natural world, the bees play their part, and they're helping the trees and the plants reproduce, essentially.
Okay.
And so it keeps everything in balance with the reproduction cycle of plants and trees. Yes. So that's why they say without the bees, we're missing a huge link, because it's millions and millions of bees going out to pollinate within the season. And so without that help, it's something we don't notice it sometimes. We don't notice that sometimes, that the bees are working all day.
Yeah.
And so without that labor, those plants, they'll fall behind.
And they'll die, right?
It's eventually, because they can't reproduce. The plant doesn't reproduce. I mean, I don't know exactly the full extent of what
like
would
how
happen.
How
like
dangerous it could be.
Yeah.
Of not
I don't want to
having...
find out. Honestly, don't want to
No.
find out what the consequences of no bees are, to the details. But we just know that without the bees, we wouldn't live too long.
Yeah, we wouldn't
as
exist,
a
huh?
I think as a planet, we wouldn't really survive.
Wow. So we need to take care of our bees.
Yes.
And what got you into bee care?
Okay, so my story goes back. I was in the military. I came back home to California, I was going to school just to kind of find my ground and figure out what I was going to do after. And so I stumbled upon this video, which was honey production. And so there's a turnkey product out there, and they say, oh, you just turn the valve, you don't have to bother the bees or whatever. And that video itself kind of like sparked an interest in how bees work and how honey is made, and that kind of was the door that opened, that led me down the rabbit hole. And so once I saw that video and I started learning how the bees make honey and how they work together. And it was like, okay, now how to beekeep? What are bees? And that just kind of, it was a spiral of about 8 months of just obsessing about bees. Like, what do they do? How do I do it? Where do I get my hands on some bees? And so finally had the opportunity to work with those bees. Somebody had a birdhouse, and they're like, hey, we want to get you don't shut up about bees. What are you going to do about these bees? We got to get rid of them. And I was like, well, I've never been in, I've never studied that. I've never looked into that. I don't know how to take bees from one place to another. I just know how to keep bees. You buy them from a farmer and you get them in the mail apparently, but I don't have anywhere to do it.
Yeah.
And so the guy's like, if you do it, you could keep them here.
And that's the farm that you work with in Riverside?
No, this isn't. This is in Orange County. This is in my hometown, La Habra. So,
okay.
Which is apparently not allowed to keep bees in that city. But
really,
yeah,
that's a funny law.
It's a funny law, being that it's all agriculture. It used to be a lot of agriculture over there. So I found out the hard way, but that's.
In Riverside, you can't eat an orange with a spoon.
Oh, not.
It was like a law put in place. I think it's something like that. It's like
that's
something
crazy.
stupid. It's like you can't eat an orange with I don't know. But it's from
Hopefully they don't catch
the
me
early
doing
1900s.
I'm a felon over here. Yeah. I'm a felon in Orange County too, with all the bees and stuff. I'm like, I'm just a beekeeper. I don't know why everybody's after me about it, but.
You started this company. How long ago did you start it?
I started the company 5 years ago.
Okay, so for the past 5 years, you've been the bee man. You're like...
Yes.
Do people call you the bee man?
They do, yeah. They call me the honey man, the bee man, LB man.
Okay.
All iterations of the bee man. The beekeeper, it all just comes down to this guy does bees, and that's what he... Yeah.
I just can't imagine working with bees. I automatically think you're going to get stung.
Yeah, and that's exactly...
You get stung?
I got stung. Yeah, I get stung every day.
Every day?
Every day that I work with a bee, inadvertently or not, I get stung by a bee.
Where's the worst spot you got stung?
And the eyelid. And you guys can see that on my Instagram. I got stung right in the eye, and that was by far...
Recent?
Fairly recent, a few months ago.
Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous, yeah.
How did you get the... What is it called? The
stinger.
Yeah, the stinger out.
I pulled it out with my fingers. I went over to the mirror to take a picture for Instagram first, of course.
You did it for the gram.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, wait. This isn't going to happen again, I hope. And so I went over there and, I just plucked it out. And I don't know what was more painful, plucking it out or having the stinger in my eye. So.
Oh, my goodness. So that's so crazy. I can't even imagine that. Do you wear equipment?
I do. So that day I didn't... I wasn't working with bees. I was working around them. And I don't know what prompted that bee to sting me, but she did. And she got me right in the eye, and I was, that. I mean, I lose vision when I get stung close enough to the eye.
Yeah.
My eye gets watery, and so I just held my face, ran to the restroom, washed it off, and kind of gathered myself a little bit, took the picture, pulled it out, then went through the same or worse pain again. And then I just kind of, I was like, all right, time out, let me take a nap it's a 15-minute nap, kind of. It's a different kind of pain. I've never experienced something like that before.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The eyelid.
Yeah. I could feel the stinger scratching my eye, and it was scary. Getting stung in the eye is probably my worst nightmare. Don't
and it happened. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you did bring some items, so I kind of wanted to maybe just show everything that you brought. So what did you bring? You brought a couple different types of honey?
We'll start with this. This is liquid honey.
So I guess you can't say you made it because
I didn't make it. I harvested it.
You harvested it. Okay.
I took care of the bees. I prepped everything for the bees. but the bees do all the work. They go out and they look for the flowers. They gather the flowers. They communicate where the flowers are. They do all their logistics and all that themselves.
Wow.
And so then they bring it home. They gather it, pack it away, prep it, dehydrate it, and then I just come in, do my quality control, and say, yeah, this is ready.
And you take it.
I harvest.
Do they get, or you harvest? No, I mean, but you know what? You're stealing from the bees. You know that, right? No kidding.
Yeah.
Do they get? I mean, when you're
They get
when you're
upset,
actually, do they?
Some,
What do they do?
So
just start buzzing around you, or what?
These are, and I wanna point the fact that the hives that I have are all feral. They're wild hives that I've rescued. So when it comes to the world of beekeeping, there's two different sides to it, and so there's a lot of beekeepers that'll keep, hives that have been, they've been bred for, just being, they're nicer bees and they produce more honey and they're selectively bred for that.
Yeah.
These hives that I'm working with, they're all wild feral bees, and so you never know what you get with these, and they all have a different personality.
Yeah.
So there's some bees that I can take the honey from. I mean, I talk to the bees regardless. I'm like, hey, ladies, I'm here to. I gotta
you're like, hey, ladies.
Well, that's
Is that how you talk to them? Because they're all ladies.
They're all ladies. So
you work with a bunch of ladies.
I do, yeah. And so I will show up, and they already know me, and they already the hives that are gonna get feisty on me, and I kind of work, because when I lay them at the yard, especially when we're traveling or we're doing tours, I don't know which ones are gonna land where. Until I start opening them up again. I'm like, oh yeah, this one's feisty, this one's not, this one. And so I develop a pattern. And so the ones that are gonna jump on me, they'll cover my veil, they'll sting me through the suit. And so this is why it's important that you keep it to the professionals. And right now we're working with a lot of like hobby beekeepers that want to keep feral bees at their house. Like, let us just get you a hive that's more manageable.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's like saying I want a baby lion because it's cute, but you don't expect it to grow to. I mean, we all expect a baby lion to grow into an adult lion, right?
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with the bees. You have a small little hive, you want to keep it at that size, but
it'll grow.
And
you need to be prepared for that.
You need to be prepared and have the space, and kind of have the guts to be able to go in there and just move the hive around with it. You're gonna get stung. That's it. Bottom line, you're gonna get lit up.
Now let's talk about if somebody finds a beehive at their home. Obviously, the best thing to do is to reach out to somebody that can help you, right?
Yes.
Secure the bees, which is you.
Yes.
And you don't want to kill the bees.
We don't want to kill the bees. No.
How do you feel when somebody says, "Oh, I wish I met you 2 months ago"?
Oh, well, my stomach turns a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, I could have helped you. Definitely gone a different way around it. And it's a science and an art to do the bee removal. The bee has its own train of thought. And you got to kind of cater to that to be able to get them to get into your boxes.
And take them away to the farm in Riverside.
Yes. And so...
Yeah. I had a situation like that.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things I said to you when I met you. I was like, oh, man. I didn't know what to do. My gardener was up there, and he took care of him, but he got stung too.
Oh, yeah.
He got stung in the face. I don't want to mess with them.
No, you don't want to mess with them. Treat it with respect and caution. Don't be afraid around them. I mean, I know it's easy to be, to have fear around them because they do sting and it is painful. And then when they get angry, it's a whole nother level of craziness and anger that they emit. So I understand that, but the best thing is to kind of report it from far. If you could take pictures, that helps us a lot.
Yeah.
Send them in. Send them to the website. Send them to my Instagram.
So they can call you. You will come out and rescue.
Yes.
The bees.
Yes.
When you come out, do you charge? Is there a fee for you coming out to clean up the beehive?
There is a charge. There's a fee, and that depends on where the hives are at.
Okay.
And what kind of work we need to do to get them out. So if we need to, do some demo on your roof, we do our best to kind of do it all clean job where we pull it all, take it apart, and then put it back together.
A demo. So that means they've gotten into the house?
Yes. Ooh. Or in the walls. If they're in the walls, we got to cut the walls open.
Wow. What's the craziest scenario that you've had?
The craziest scenario was a house that not only did it have the bees, but it had termites, and that allowed the bees to kind of travel between the frames. Normally, the lateral limits of a hive will be the 2 frames in the walls, and fire blocks and whatever lateral limits keep the bees in the wall. So when there's termites, there's holes, and they'll just go through that, and they'll maze out the whole house. And I mean, I was pulling honeycomb for like 2-3 days, and at one point I just had to stop because I told the homeowner, like, you're not gonna have walls. Like you need a treat for. I mean, I took the majority of the hive. You did
what you could, right?
Yes, before heading in deeper into the house.
Yeah.
And so most of that was all just honeycomb and old stuff that'd been there for years. And so if you don't take care of it, the bees are good opportunists. They'll go and they'll handle it, and they'll just grow as far as they can before splitting. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, okay, the honey.
Okay.
Tell us.
So these two honeys here. This one is a crystallized honey.
We get to try it?
Yes.
Right.
I'm not sure if the straws will
go through it,
but so honey, I wanted to tell you that this honey, you can feel it, and it'll get messy here, but the crystallized properties of it, they make for a very good exfoliant.
Exfoliant?
Yes. So it has a natural grit to it. And that your hands, your face, whatever you want to put it on.
So good.
Your toast, peanut butter and honey.
Yeah.
With this, it's spreadable. Good stuff.
So yummy. That's good. You guys want to try?
And this is our liquid honey. So this is how it comes out of the hive.
This is liquid.
Actually, I have the honeycomb, but that's how.
Bring it. Let's see it.
That's how it comes out of the hive.
Grab it real quick. While you go, I'll try this. So this is how it actually comes out of the hive.
Yes.
And oh, I got some spoons. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so that's how it comes out of the hive.
Okay. Yeah. You want to bring it up here?
Yeah. Are you gonna bring it up? Oh, because you got that stuff on the. Okay, we're showing it.
Yeah, we're showing it on camera right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, talk about it. She's showing it on camera.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the honeycomb.
And what about all that other stuff that we're highlighting right now?
Okay, I see what she's pointing at. So that's the honeycomb. It's in a frame. That's how the boxes. That's a small box right there, and it's built out to where these frames kind of sit on a ledge, and it gives the bees enough space to walk in between the frames. And this is strictly just honey. So where this box was fitted into the hives, it was at the very top chamber where the queen can't reach it, and the bees just fill it with honey, and that makes it kind of a little bit turnkey to kind of just locate it, find it, and then be able to harvest it.
Is there honeycombs in there too?
Yeah, that's all honey. That's the rawest form of honey you can get.
Because the honeycombs are the actual like.
Yes.
You know, I don't really know much about honey, honestly.
Yeah, that is the rawest form of honey. That's the honeycomb, hermetically sealed, has never seen the light of day or the air. So when you cut it open, the way we get this honey is we extract it. You can either crush it and separate it through cheesecloth or strainers.
Okay.
Or we spin it out in a centrifuge when we have enough frames. And so that's when you're able to bottle it because it kind of just drips down.
Drips out. Okay, why is this thicker and that one is not so thick?
So this one has sat for, I want to say about a year.
Okay.
So this is last year's harvest, and it naturally will crystallize like that. A lot of people might believe that it's sugar when it crystallizes, but that's what honey does. It'll crystallize on its own. Okay. Because it is a.
So this is a year old. Is this like newer?
This is the same honey, but it's been melted down.
Okay.
And at very low temperatures, we'll sit this in a double boiler.
Okay. I'm gonna take like a good bite now that we got a spoon.
Yeah.
So, I love honey. I'm a big fan. I like to put in my tea. Looks very nice. And you sell these?
I sell.
So if somebody wants to buy somewhere, where can they get it from?
Yeah, this is all on thebeearmy.com.
Thebeearmy.com.
Yes.
And did you pick Army because you're in the military? Was that kind of
So the name, when I first started, I didn't have bee suits that I bought at the store. I had jumpsuits from the military that were just sitting there I wasn't using them. And so I figured, you know what? I'll just throw these on, makeshift bee suit. And so I did about a year before I started the company, had a name. I did a year of
Can I try?
I did a year of volunteering, essentially, where I'm like, hey, I just wanted bees. I didn't know where to get them. I found that friend that had that birdhouse with the bees in it, and that was my door. I think that was, if I had not taken that, I don't know.
You don't know where you'd be right now.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
And so, yeah.
That's funny.
They allowed me to keep the bees there as long as I took them out. And so I just...
It's crazy because you literally had no interest in bees at all. And then you watched a video on TikTok or Instagram?
It was still before
MySpace?
TikTok. So
No, I'm just kidding.
No, not that far. It was on YouTube.
I'm messing with you. You're like, no, not that far back. Okay, so you're on YouTube and you see this video and you're just like, oh, you know what?
This is cool.
But it's your calling.
Yes.
You know, you're making a difference in like the lives of the bees and people because we need the bees.
Yes.
You're saving the bees.
Yes. And
Save the bees.
And sometimes the people need saving from the bees as well. Because I've seen it where they're like, oh, well, we don't know what to do, but we don't want to kill them. And
well, let's go to My Girl, the movie.
Oh,
you've seen that, right?
I've heard. I haven't seen that movie.
Oh my gosh!
I heard somebody
as
dies
the bee
from
man.
Bees. As a bee, as a bee man, I hadn't seen a lot of movies.
Yeah, you gotta cut into that clip. No, I'm just kidding. The My Girl. So in My Girl,
yes,
I can't remember the names. I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but it was Macaulay Culkin's character.
Yes,
and he went to go get something for the girl. Or something, I don't know. And then he went to this place, and then the beehive like fell, and the bees swarmed him, and killed him.
Yeah,
he had an allergic reaction. So it's, I think that sometimes movies scare people or kind of shift how we should really like look at a certain thing, like meaning like the bees. That movie made people terrified of bees. So when they see a bee, what do they want to do?
Well, they get away from it or they want to kill the bees.
Exactly.
So it's like...
But we got to save the bees.
Yes. And to add some truth to that story, it can happen. And there isn't, and so that's why awareness is a big thing. If you're not about that, then just report it from afar. And then somebody that's prepared and trained to take care of it will come by.
And, how many stings does it take for somebody to really get hurt?
I think that depends on the person.
Okay, so it varies.
It varies.
It's not like, one is fine if you get, and especially if you're allergic. I mean, one can kill somebody if they're allergic, right? Now let's go ahead and dive into the honey wine that you make. So you personally make it yourself?
So right now, yes, I'm making honey wine right now. So when we have the final bits of like the honey, we make some wine with it, right?
Okay.
It's one of the byproducts of raising bees. And I've been getting heavily invested in making honey wine lately. So I've been trying other people's wines.
Okay.
We call it mead. Other people's meads.
So you call them mead?
Mead, yes.
Mead meaning like it's because it's a honey wine?
Correct.
Okay.
So that's just the name that it's been given.
Okay.
And so this goes back. It's one of the most ancient fermented drinks there is.
I'm just so interested in this one. What is
is
that? Can you tell them what that says?
This one is a peanut butter and jelly mead. So it's made with blueberry mead, and it's got peanuts. So are you allergic to peanuts?
No.
Okay.
Like no.
So I personally haven't.
Can we open it up and try it? I'm so intrigued with it being peanut butter and jelly.
I personally haven't tried this one.
Okay.
Oh.
So hopefully it's a good one.
It's gonna pop.
It.
Oh. Very anticlimactic.
Like ooh. Mm-hmm. Got it. Here we got 3 cups, so we can share with the team.
I have a heavy hand, so you gotta let me know if that's too much. Oh, I can smell it already.
Oh yeah. It smells like wine.
Salud.
Salud. I'm like, gotta do the whole like wine experience.
Oh, that's definitely mead.
I love that.
Mead
It's
has a
so
different,
good.
yeah.
It's different.
It's a
It's
different
not
profile.
like wine. And it's not as, I want to say it's not as thick
Okay.
as wine, right? The
Yes.
consistency is a little bit.
You'll get some meads
Thinner.
out there. We'll leave that open. We'll get some meads out there that are on the thick side.
Is there another one that you want us to try?
I want to open up this one right here.
Okay.
That one's in a very.
Tell everybody about this one.
There's the label has nothing to do with what's inside. This was an experiment that I had 2 years ago, and I must have lost this bottle because I don't. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here.
You're like, I would already drink it.
Yeah. So.
So this also.
This is.
When it ages, it gets better.
It gets better. Yeah.
Okay.
At least that's
Very
the
good.
theory, and that's. It's still bubbly. Look at that. I'm excited about that.
Ooh, yeah.
So,
All right.
what I will ask of you though is an honest, because
Opinion,
I don't know
review?
what it tastes like.
Okay, you made this? Okay.
This is something I made.
Okay.
So if it's
Let's
not
do it.
good, it's not good. It's what it is.
You guys want to try some too?
Let me know if I'm pouring too much.
I know. Still got another episode to do
Oh.
after this. No. Ready? Oh,
Whoa.
You want to try some? No? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You like
I like it. It's sweet.
You like it?
It's super sweet.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the smell or the scent. I don't know if it's
Yes.
smell. So I can get a whiff of the honey, but there's another scent that I'm picking up, and I don't know how to profile it.
Is it the
It's
peanut
different. Maybe is that have peanut butter in it?
No. What it is that cup just had peanut butter in it.
Oh, so it might have been.
Here, you want? We'll
Let
pour
me
it in
try.
here.
Okay, yeah.
And you can
So I
smell
can
it
do
in
like a
here.
really
Yeah.
honest review. Okay. It's different.
It's different.
Honey.
It's got gas in it.
I can't get gassy right now.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm not trying that either.
So I'm just gonna have a little sip.
Yeah.
But I feel it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's bubbly.
It's bubbly. Yeah,
yeah.
I could tell when I opened it. So the story behind this is that and this is when I first started making the mead. I had a bucket of mead that got water in it, and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I just made a batch.
Okay.
But I wasn't into like making mead like that. I was just like, I need to save this product. It's gonna go to waste if I don't. And so we drank about I made 1.5 gallons of it. And these bottles got lost.
And so this
in
is
the fridge
just
and
like,
stuff,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So this has been
I already
sitting-
feel it.
I
We
know.
barely had 2 sips.
So-
This stuff's dangerous. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is the
It's
wine that I'm
different.
making. Yeah.
It's different. It kind of reminds me of like fruit wines, right?
Yes.
So it's got like a different profile to it, but it's good. It's good. But yeah, cool.
So this is I don't have a name for it. This is just honey wine. This one had blueberries. These ones have other flavors in
others.
them. But this is just straight honey and water and yeast. And so we ferment it, bottle it, forget about it, and it ages.
Yeah.
And so this is what we're left with. So
I love it. So you rescue bees, you sell honey, you harvest the honey, you sell it, and you make mead.
and I make mead, and we do pollination contracts. So we're all part of the almond pollination, which is part of our food supply here in California.
And of course, you're in Riverside with the farm. There's a farm in Riverside that
Yes.
you work with, and that's awesome.
The avocado farms, and we work with avocado farms in Duluth down by Temecula as well. That's where my bees are at right now. The majority of our touring bees, that's where they're at.
Okay.
And so then we'll bring them home at the end of the season, being the end of the summer, and we'll start that whole process all over again.
That is amazing. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming out today and sharing your knowledge and your honey.
Thank you.
And I hope that this conversation entices other people to really, consider what they're doing with bees in the long run, whether if they find them or, just I think that we have to have a respect for the animals, right? Because each animal brings something, and the bees are bees an insect or
bees are insects. Yes,
and that's an insect that we need.
Yes.
So take care of those bees. And like this, no honey, no money. Right? How does that go? No money, no honey.
Yeah.
I just thought of honey. I was like trying to think of like something that goes with that. But yes, thank you. Do you want to tell everybody how they can follow you, or they can purchase any of your items, or if they need rescuing from bees?
Yes, of course. So my website is thebeearmy.com. Our Instagram is the Bee Army. So anywhere in any platform, we're gonna be the Bee Army. TikTok, YouTube's coming up soon. I don't have any long videos on that yet.
Okay.
And so it's all the Bee Army. So if you find the Bee Army, that's us. If you want to hit us on a direct line, my number's on the website, but and I'll just say it here, it's 562-536-2150. Ask for the Bee Army, and you'll get help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alejandro.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is so cool. Thank you for bringing all the samples. And thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of today's episode. We're hoping that we can get information out to the community that allows our community to really, enrich the community, right, with information. And I think today's episode was awesome because people don't realize how important bees are, right?
Yeah,
so take care of your bees.
Well, thank you for having me, Jessica. Thank you for having me over here on your podcast.
Thank you. All right. Thank you guys so much. And last but not least, shout out to our sponsor, Qattawai Wowi. If you're looking for a bright white smile, go to QattawaiWowi.com. Use code podcast. Get $20 off and a whiter smile in 7 days. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you.